Hey, True fam, welcome back to the stream. We're still here at ECGC. It's me, Ildatore, Big Panda on the end, and we are here interviewing our member from actual RedStorm.
Hunter Janes, nice to meet you guys.
So you want to start us off with the first question?
Yes, I will. So the first question we have here is, how did you get started with RedStorm?
So I kind of lived the dream. I was in college and I was researching games.
Okay.
And I had a research project on what you can do with data in games and how you can improve players' experience from that. And as a result, I emailed RedStorm for a research project, and the dream happened. They hired me on.
Wow.
So I must have said the right thing to the right person. So it's one of those rare moments of just sort of ending up in games. And
Wow.
I've been
really
there
cool.
going on 4 years now, and I've loved every minute of it.
Nice.
All right, what's your position with RedStorm? What do you do?
So I'm a designer right now on Star Trek Bridge Crew. So on Star Trek Bridge Crew, I primarily do campaign and narrative design. So when you guys play the game, you're going to see a lot of campaign missions that I had a hand in, which is it's been a great dream of mine because I'm a huge Star Trek fan.
Cool. Yep, we were talking about that earlier. I think all of us here have, well, I know I have. I don't know about Panda on the end. It might be before his time, like we were talking about earlier.
No,
We just found
I've
out that
seen-
Panda's, what, 12 years
Yeah.
old?
Yeah.
Going on
Panda,
13?
little Panda down there. It's okay.
No, I've seen Star Trek. I liked it. It was nice. I liked it. So, how were you involved in the making of Star Trek Bridge Crew? Obviously, you just said like you were had some hand in the campaign missions. Like, is there like anything else you want to add on to that?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of people on Star Trek Bridge Crew from the very beginning. And I was one of the people early on in the process who was looking at the options in VR, and we decided that the most interesting thing for us would be to do a social VR game, much like Worlds Within, which just came out recently, but in Star Trek. So I've sort of been on from the very beginning. I've helped a lot with not only the campaign and the narrative, sort of the story of the game, but also as sort of the in-house superfan, it kind of had me to brainstorm cool Star Trek ideas. And so I very much got to be the person who, in some ways, got to do official fan fiction, right? So it's kind of a cool moment.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So what engine is Star Trek Bridge Crew running on?
So we're running on Unity.
Okay, Unity.
On Unity.
On Unity, yeah. Which is a great engine to dev on.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah. What are you hoping to accomplish with Star Trek Bridge Crew?
Well, what we really want to have happen is that we actually get the Star Trek experience. So if you've seen the shows, you've seen the movies, we're all fans here. We know what it's like when you have the bridge crew on the bridge itself. There's interactions, the captain's giving orders, making the hard decisions. You've got the engineer, sometimes in a Scottish accent, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to offend all of Scotland, saying she can't take anymore. We want to have those tense moments of social interaction and hard decision making. As well as like moral quandaries, that sort of thing. So we can get the feel of Star Trek. You know, we've really succeeded in what we're trying to do.
Yeah. You want people to essentially feel like they're in the universe. Like
Absolutely.
They're there, everything's going on, decisions being made in real time.
Yeah, and I think we've gotten that. So I hope that people who play the game feel the same way.
Yeah.
Sounds like it'll be interesting. Like many of the games that we all play together where shenanigans ensue because people either don't listen or don't pay attention.
Yep.
Yeah, we've had lots of that in testing. So
Those are the good moments, though.
Those are the great
That's
moments.
the fun thing. So what are some of the cool features about the game that you can tell us about?
So we've got 2 ships, first off the bat, which is really cool. We've got the USS Aegis, which is our house ship, the ship that we created with CBS. She's a special prototype starship.
Nice.
And we have the original OG Enterprise. Which
Have to have the Enterprise.
You have to have the Enterprise, right? You can't
It's
be
not Star Trek without it.
Absolutely. And we have a full co-op campaign and procedural mission mode that we call Ongoing Voyages. And we can also play with 1 to 4 people. So that means 1 person with 3 crew bots, we call them, AI, intelligent AI, or 2 or 3 and 1, you know, whatever number we want. So it's also it's important to note, it's fully online. We've got a lot of questions of whether or not this is a LAN party game, because one of the ways we demo quite a bit, and you guys know how it is, the best way to have a camera on everyone is to be in the same room.
Yeah.
But really, it's meant to be online. It's way easier because I'm not punching you in the face with my controller.
Why are you not listening?
So do you have any like long-term plans for the game, like, you know, DLC or, you know, just like updates, that kind of thing? Do you think you'll be adding on more missions to the game?
So That's a great question. Right now, we're really focused on getting the game out the door, trying to make Star Trek Bridge Crew the best it can be. But we're certainly open to possibilities in the future.
Okay.
I was going to say, Star Trek is a huge universe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it
It
is.
can be explored many different ways.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of different directions you can take it in, but it's always important to make sure the base game itself is good. Everything works, everything's good. You
Yes.
want everybody to have a good first experience so that
Yeah.
they stick with it.
And that's super important to us as a team.
What are the recommended specs for the PC version?
So for the PC, whatever the recommended specs are currently for Oculus Rift and HTC Vive, that's
yeah.
going to be our recommended specs.
Okay, cool.
So we've
Okay.
made very sure that it runs well on min-spec PCs for the VR headsets.
Okay. Can we expect more games like Star Trek Bridge Crew from you guys?
So we've learned a lot from the other game we have out, the social VR game Rebels Within, which taught us a lot about social VR and how people interact in groups, and we carried that forward in Star Trek Bridge Crew. So very much we're going to have an eye on what we learned from Star Trek Bridge Crew, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we carried some lessons forward in the future on other projects.
Okay.
Now, the procedural mission mode that you were talking about, is there any more info you can give us on that? Is that like, because I know campaign is basically you're going to have a story that you want people to go through with each other, but then with procedural mode, is that just going to be something that they can do outside to expand their experience or different missions? Or
Yeah, so that's a great question, and I want to kind of make sure we're clear on this. So we're not saying like fully procedural. This is not
Okay.
a No Man's Sky situation.
Okay.
What we have is 4 different mission types, and we're going to talk a little bit more about those in the future. But that take place within a sector of space called the Trench, where the main campaign takes place.
Okay.
And you can either be on the USS Aegis, yet again the ship that we worked with CBS on, or the Enterprise. And we'll have randomized elements within those missions. So no 2 missions will play the same, even if you're on the same mission parameters. So, for example, we have a rescue mission type, which you have to go rescue survivors. You never quite know what you're going to get when you go on a rescue mission. So it could happen in a different solar system. You could have different enemies show up. You could have different strange space anomalies, because it is Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
Strange space stuff is part of the DNA of that brand. So what's important to us with the ongoing voyages mode is that it's different every time. But it also has the feel of authored content.
Makes
So
perfect sense.
in the game, when you're sitting on the deck, and you have the things in front of you, will you be able to, like, I don't know, your character be able to get up and move around, or are you kind of like stationary right there, or?
So it was important for us to make the game comfortable. And best way we found to make the game comfortable is to have a seated experience.
Okay.
So we're fully seated for Star Trek Bridge Crew. But of course, you move around your arms, you have full
Right.
head control, you can turn around and talk to people. But just for right now, for player comfort, we're limiting to being in front of your console. But yet again, that's kind of the core of Star Trek's DNA, is we're right at your station,
Yeah.
you're playing the helm officer, you're at the helm. So I think it's incredibly immersive.
Now, since you can play co-op with 4 people, do you have like specific positions for people, like names for those, the individual jobs that they're performing?
Yes,
Or?
absolutely.
Right.
So we have 4 different positions, 4 roles we call them. The helm officer, who flies the ship. The tactical officer, who runs our weapon suite and our sensors, our shields, that sort of thing. The engineer, who runs all the power and routes repair crews to different subsystems as they're damaged. It's sort of the, I like to call it the heart and soul of the ship. Gets to yell things like, oh, we've got a hull breach on deck 11, one of those things. And we have the captain, who's making all the command and control decisions and coordinating the team. In addition to that, we have a couple floating jobs. So the transporter can be controlled by either helm, engineer, or tactical. The same with a couple of the other special abilities of the Aegis that you guys will find out when you actually play the game.
All right.
So are you trying to, with the game, like the storyline, are you going to be like, where are you going to be? Are you going to be like in Next Generation, or are you like, what?
So we're
kind of
in
focus on?
what is called the Kelvin timeline.
Okay.
The Kelvin timeline is the new movie timeline. So we're set. So the story is set looking for the Vulcan homeworld. So if you recall, in the first Star Trek movie from was it 2009?
Yeah.
Vulcan is destroyed. So the USS Aegis is part of a task force sent out to find a new homeworld for the Vulcans. So we're sort of set in the middle of that trilogy.
Okay.
And so we're telling an untold story of the Star Trek universe. and it's taking place yet again. I kind of mentioned this, but the trench, which is
Yep.
a special unknown part of space.
Yeah.
And we have a whole backstory for it that we hope to reveal as the player plays the game.
Nice.
Okay.
Sounds like it's going to be very interesting. A lot of stuff to go through. Actually, sounds like it's going to be a really enjoyable experience, especially with friends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I think
yeah.
so. That's actually something we found that was super important to Werewolves Within. I keep mentioning that. It's because we learned so much from
Yeah.
Werewolves Within. One of the things we found is people play with their friends a lot, which is, should not be surprising in VR or social VR, but it
No.
was a really reassuring thing for us making Bridge Crew, because we can probably count on a lot of people getting their buddies in and putting a Starship Bridge Crew together.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where the fun's going to be. To get your friends together, have everybody involved in the campaign, go
Yeah.
through it together. It makes the story a little more interesting when you have a personal connection with the other people and going through it.
Yeah.
Do you have any more questions down there, Panda?
No, I don't have. Do you have any more?
Nope.
No, you don't have any more.
I think
yeah.
we got a lot of information from
We
Hunter.
did.
Lovely guys.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man. We hope you've had as much fun as we have.
Had a
Yeah.
blast.
All right, guys. Well, True Fam, I just want to thank y'all for stopping out for this interview with Hunter from RedStorm. I think we're going to post a few more links and stuff in the Discord for everybody to give you some more information on Star Trek Bridge Crew. So I hope everybody has a great day, and we'll catch you later. I think Dust and White Shadow are going to be interviewing people from Epic Games later, so be sure to tune back in for that. All right, y'all have a nice afternoon.
See ya.